Hello everyone, I am Mokhtar Bacha, CEO at Shipple, and it's a real pleasure to be here to talk about the user experience in your dApps. So, what? So what is the current state in our industry for onboard a new user into a dApp? Let's imagine right now the experience of someone who read an article about CryptoKitties.co and don't know anything about Ethereum, blockchain, or related stuff. So you're going to type CryptoKitties.co on Google, arrive on the website, and the first thing that we are going to ask him, before even starting to use the product and understand what's the need, he will have to install MetaMask, process all the onboarding of MetaMask, so 7 steps at least, and save the seed with lot of, it's a very scary process in the sense that the user have a lot of disclaimer information that said to him, be very careful, this is very dangerous, you have to store your seed in a very safe place. I mean, any regular user will already drop this process. And if he succeeds to succeed all these steps, he will have then to go on Coinbase or any other exchange, buy out some Ether or tokens, and send it to a wallet. And to create his account, he will need to process a KYC who can take up to 7 days. So at the end, all these steps just about a collectible. I feel it's a lot. So this current state is just unacceptable. 30 steps to get from the start to the finish. Up to 7 days to process the account of the user on a KYC. And there is all this confusing terminology. Wallet, seed, private key, gas fees, Ether, crypto, blockchain, Ethereum. I mean, this is too much. This is too much for a user who just wants to play with a kitty. So this UX problem can be divided in two. There is a private key management, which is today managed by wallets, and we are going to work on that in the future, but the scope of this talk, it's about the second related issue, which is the gas, Ether, and token issues. So let me introducing you something that I'm very excited to talk about. I've worked for months on that. I'm very proud of the work of my team on Shipple. So what is Shipple? Shipple is a very nice tool. We're going to decrease the user onboarding from 30 steps to 10 steps, including the MetaMask onboarding. It's just 2 minutes from start to finish. The developer, the user, don't need to process through a KYC. This is much faster than any other onboarding on Ethereum dApps, and there is no confusing terminology. There is no gas fees, Ethers, or weird word like this one. So what the solution is exactly. Today, we are a meta transaction as a service through a Web3 provider. It's a very nice SDK, which is very easy to implement for any developer. As a result, the user don't need any Ether to make a transaction. He can make Etherless transactions. So who's going to pay for these transactions? It gives either the possibility to the dApp developer to pay for this transaction, or to the user to pay in fiat for his transactions, in dollars, euros, yen, or whatever fiat currencies you want. In the future, we look to being the best solution to onboard user on Web3. So let's dig a little bit into what a meta transaction is on the technical side. So to make a transaction, a user needs to sign the transaction and send it directly to a miner, which is going to process it to the network. But to doing that, the miner is going to take a gas fee. And this gas fee will add a lot of confusion for the user and complexity in the user experience. So how work a meta transactions? The user is still going to sign the transaction, he still owns his private key, but instead of directly sending this transaction to the network, to the miner, is going to send to a gas provider. Here, the gas provider is going to be Sheeple. And what the gas provider is going to do is going to take the transaction and wrap it into another transaction, and this is the meta transaction. And this signed transaction is going to be an argument in the relay contract, and the relay contract is going to call the dApp contract and process the transaction. So what the end user is going to see. At the DEFCON 4, we've integrated in alpha stage Sheeple into Hellhound, which is an amazing project about decentralized blind computation. So they use Sheeple to stake an amount of Ether directly in the smart contract to allow people to use the protocol. And thanks to Sheeple, the user was able to stake directly in dollars, to put his credit card, send the transaction, the fiat transaction to Sheeple, and then, thanks to our API and our service, we process the transaction to the network with a meta transaction. And here, something very interesting is that the user is asked to sign a message. It's not a transaction, it's a message. So I believe in something is the fact that making a very good user experience doesn't mean that we need to make your developer experience worse. We have to create the best developer experience. So how Sheeple is going to work for you as a developer? You're going to create an account on sheeple.co. It's very simple. Everyone does that already. And then you are going to create an app. What is an app? An app is just a bunch of whitelisted smart contracts. You're going to select which network, so Rinkeby, Coven, Ropsten, or Mainnet. And then you're also going to select who's going to pay for the transaction. Is it the dApp developer, or is it the end user who is going to input his credit card? And when you have made all this select, you're going to whitelist the smart contract. Why are you whitelisting a smart contract? Because you want to pay only for the transactions of your users. And you can even whitelist the functions in your smart contract that you allow your user to process transactions through. It's a level of granularity which is just amazing. It's very simple, it's very cool. The documentations explain very well all the process, so you should check it out. As I said, I want Sheeple to be simple to integrate for developers. I have 2 years of experience in Web3.js development, and I can tell you, sometimes it's very hard to develop on Web3.js. It's still an early stage platform, and so we didn't want with Sheeple to add more complexity to your job. We just created this very nice provider which, in 2 lines of code, can enable meta transaction directly in your dApps. This is, when you think about that, all the work that we do with our API, which is a lot of work, a ton of work, like the nonce manager, the process to transaction on mainnet, the management of the API, all this stuff is just abstract in 2 lines of code in your dApp. This is very, very, very cool and very fun also to use. So, what is our roadmap for the future? We want to make Sheeple today. I believe it's a way to onboard more users, to make it easier to get new users into your dApps. But tomorrow, we want to be the foundation of a seamless UX by creating all-in-one tools, a set of tools who are going to improve your user experience by at least 10 times on your dApps. And our ultimate goal is to make it better than the Web 2 world in terms of user experience. So Sheeple is already available. You can go on GitHub. The SDK is open source. You can download the SDK Sheeple on NPM. Our API is a REST API, and you can throw to the docs at docs.sheeple.co. We also launched the beta on mainnet. It's a closed beta, so you need to sign up with your email, and then we will get in touch with you. But it's already available on mainnet. And I would like to announce the biggest bug bounty program on a smart contract. After all this very good, very cool new announcement, I think it's a good way to finish this presentation, this talk. And so we are going to announce 85,000 DAI in bounties on a smart contract. 5,000 DAI for low security bug, up to 12,000 DAI for critical security bug. And all this stuff are going to be available very soon on bounties.network. So thank you for your time. We're hiring. Thank you for your time. At Chipple, we're hiring right now senior developers. So if you're motivated to join a team, we try to improve the user experience of this ecosystem, and a team we want to craft the best product for the developers, with the best documentations, with the best APIs, with enterprise-grade level of quality in terms of SaaS development. Let's join us and keep in touch with us on our Twitter and Telegram channel, and check it out at chipple.co. Thank you very much, and have a very good event and conference. If you have some question, I'm ready to take some of your questions. Yep. Sorry. Maybe I've been a little bit too fast on this one, but it's the first time that I present Chipple on stage, so it's a little bit stressful.
Yeah. Question about the gas provider.
Yes.
Is it located on your servers or is it on the client side? The gas provider. Yes. How does it work? Is it on your servers that it's a request?
Yeah. So here the gas provider is Chipple, and basically this part of this part is off-chain. The part of the gas provider is off-chain, and this is just a server, and here it's an API. I'm part of the Meta Cartel. There is some initiative to create a decentralized layer of gas provider through the network. But I think that today our goal is to improve the user experience, so we've just created a simple API in a centralized fashion, I would say, or a more classic fashion. So yes, it's a server managed by us. Any other questions? Okay. So today we don't charge any money from the developers or the user. We will look in our business model in the future, but today we don't take any money. But the developer still have to pay, like the developer is going to have the choice to pay for the user. So if he pays for the transaction of his user, obviously we're not going to pay for his transaction, but we don't take any fees. Okay. No other question? J'ai un peu rapide, combien de temps? Ouais, j'aurais dû peut-être prendre plus mon temps.